talk about morning time and how to support our students in their morning routine. So here are things that you should consider for your special education classroom. 1, the breakfast morning routine. Do your students eat breakfast at home? If your students eat breakfast at home, consider how long it has been since they've had breakfast. Maybe some of our students take a long bus ride. So some of my students previously had up to a 45-minute bus ride before the school day. So that means they may have eaten an hour or more before the school day has started. Consider maybe adding a snack time in the morning or before lunch if your students have a long morning bus ride. Do your students eat breakfast at school? That's an important question to ask. If your students eat breakfast at school, take it as a learning opportunity. We can work on manners, cleaning up their breakfast, or cleaning up their desk, eating in a certain area, eating at an appropriate pace, keep track of how much they're actually eating for breakfast on a daily basis. And they may also need a snack before lunch if they are only eating maybe part of the school breakfast. Just keep that into consideration. For example, I've previously had a student that only drank the school juice and would not eat the breakfast provided. I would give that student a 10 o'clock snack to supplement until lunchtime, knowing that kind of helps them get them through their day. If you can't tell, making sure my students are properly fed is super important to me. I've seen enough students display negative behaviors because they were hungry, and so we really just don't want to do that if we don't have to. It's such a basic morning routine to include. Number 2, their bathroom and hygiene use in the morning routine. Do your students have or use diapers or pull-ups? If you have students that need support in toileting, making sure that they are not soiled when they come into school. And similarly, they may have had a long bus ride to school and need to be changed. So schedule this as part of their morning routines to really help with their cleanliness. Do you have students that need support in grooming? So this is, again, something you can put in the morning routine. And we know mornings can be very busy time for parents, and they may not have had the time to be able to get through the entire hygiene routine with their child. We get it. Consider adding a grooming schedule into your students' morning schedules. And it's really just been helpful to keep everybody clean. Previously, I've had students that have showered at school in the morning, in the school's locker rooms, just so they're cleanly. And I have also had students brush their hair and teeth when they got to school. Again, just putting that part of their routine. We know peers can be cruel, so do what we can to help and support our students. Help make hygiene an acceptable morning routine in the classroom. Number 3, morning work for the classroom. Are your students ready to work in the morning? Get them to work then. Work can be defined in many different ways. And so in my classroom, there's things that we can do like jobs. Work for some students may mean like a daily job. And some of my students have jobs to do after they unpack their backpacks. So for example, I've had a student that checks the dryer. So we had a washer and dryer in my previous classroom. So if there are dry clothes, they're going to fold all of those clothes and towels from the day prior. Do you have a student that really likes to move and really wants to move around in the morning? I've had another job where a student checks all the staff mailboxes first thing in the morning. And I'd love to hear some of your classroom jobs as well to get your students up and moving in the morning as part of their routines. All right, we can also have binder work. That's something that could be a great way to start a student's day if they're ready to sit down and get to work. There are a variety of skills that can be addressed in their work, and it is a great time to also do IEP data. So if you need to take data on them, super great. You can work on identification and writing for their name, numbers, letters, shapes, personal information like their address or phone number. Calendar and weather is a great time to address here. Their feelings and emotions check-in. How are they doing today? Matching and sorting, colors, shapes, numbers, alphabet letters. Literally, the list goes on. They can sort or match their favorite characters or animals. They can do puzzles. And I've had some students that are just not ready for academics in the morning, and that's totally fine. So jobs are just too busy for them, and then I have them work on maybe puzzles. This helps get their brains thinking, but without the work being too strenuous. They need to focus on their tasks, but have fun while they're doing it. So it's sometimes really been great. So morning routine can totally be fun for them. Number 4, quiet time in your morning routine. Are your students totally not ready to work in the morning, not ready to have a conversation? I've previously had some students in my classroom that are not ready to come to school and not ready to learn, and that is okay. I make sure that I address their basic needs first, of course. If they need a sensory break or quiet time when they arrive, I make sure it is in their schedule consistently and consistently throughout their day. So previously I had a student that would take a 10-minute break in a tent, and when he came to school, so first thing off the bus, he would go straight into his tent, and then he would be able to close up his tent. I'll set a timer for that 10 minutes, and then he learned that he was expected to work after that. So on those more difficult mornings with that student, he may have had 12 to 15 minutes in the tent by himself. And this gave my student a quiet time to be alone and to get ready for his day. And by the end of the school year, that tent was removed, and then he was able to sit at his desk by himself, away from others, but still had that time. It still served the same purpose, but allowed him to be more socially appropriate and take a break when he's well. So thank you for listening. I hope you feel more confident in your morning routines, and this gave you some ideas of how to utilize them in your classroom. Thank you for watching today's video. If you're new here, make sure to click that like and subscribe button. It would mean so much to me. Click the bell to get notifications for when new videos get released or I go live. As always, leave a comment if you have any questions.